put up to give us a little brief on JPF platform. Sanyog ji.
Okay, thank you, Rahulji. I'll just select my presentation. Jai Janendra, everyone. I'm Sanyog Jain. I'm a volunteer with the JITO Mentorship Program. And I want to give everybody a brief overview of JITO and its activities. JITO, Jain International Trade Organization, is a community platform where the mission is towards education, empowerment, and seva. One of the unique features or an interesting facet of JITO is that JITO caters to every member of the family. There is a JITO Youth Wing, there's a JITO Ladies Wing, which has more than 11,000 members, and there's JITO Business Network and JPF. JITO Professional, which has membership from practicing professionals like doctors, lawyers, architects, and CAs, as well as corporate professionals. There are several programs geared towards education and empowerment and seva, which are sponsored by JITO. Another facet of JITO is that it reaches out to all sects of the community. JITO is growing, and it is growing across India as well as internationally. It has got 9 zones, 67 chapters, 11 international chapters. The last international chapter that was added was Canada, and more than 14,000 paying members. We regularly have the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, as well as the Industry Minister address us. Now, the JITO Professional Forum, it brings together practicing professionals and corporate professionals. And our aim is really to leverage the power of the community. Our long-term goal is to connect 100,000 Jain professionals and help them towards their path to success. The vision and the mission of JPF is really twofold. First, to involve, network, and engage Jain professionals globally. Second, to facilitate interaction of Jain professionals with JITO members for professional development and growth. Our mission for
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Our mission for 2021 and beyond is to build a platform where Jain professionals can engage with top 100 accomplished Jain professionals, the industry leaders. When I come back again, I will tell you a little bit more about the activities that we have done since the inception of the program. Rahulji, over to you.
Thank you, Sanyog ji. Thank you for enlightening us onto the entire platform and guiding us through what are the opportunities available for all the mentees and the audience on this platform. Today, we have a time where for over the last couple of decades, we have seen transitions, transformations in the way we work, way we think, way we behave. I think this flagship program of JPF, which is we call as Level Up Series, helps us build our knowledge, our learnings out of it. We provide connect through our mentors on a regular basis, one-to-one in a group way. So this is one of those sessions where we are going to have kind of a group mentoring in a way, I would say, Level Up Series. And today, when we look at ourselves, we look at study, knowledge, and learning. So this becomes a knowledge platform. Learning becomes our job, where we engage with our mentors and start building up. And that brings to our topic today, accelerating careers through analytics. So when we look at this particular subject, accelerating careers through analytics, we look at analytics in today's field is be it production to the product, be it profit to the productivity of every individual, be it culture to the compliance, be it cost to consumer. I think every facet of our life is being covered and unearthed or integrated in every manner through analytics and artificial intelligence in some way or other. Today, we have a very distinguished speaker with us. She is currently based out of Gurugram. She carries a decade of rich experience in research, analytics, and consulting. Many companies where she could make them come above the curve and deliver most of the new age products. And rather, I would say, in a population of 140 crore today, we are touched by her work on daily basis, individually and collectively. She is the Vice President, Analytics at EXL. She is a PhD from IIT Delhi. She has done Masters in Business Economics from Delhi University. She has been awarded by India AI NASSCOM for AI Game Changer Award, where she comes as 21 women in 2021. She is 50 most influential AI leaders in India today. She's top 11 analytics in leaders in India 2020 as per Analytic India magazine. I welcome Dr. Swati Jain for the panel. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Thank you, Sanyog ji. Thanks, Sushma ji, Amol. Thank you so much for, yeah.
So before we move on further, I would just want to give a disclaimer to our audience. All the discussions here or the mentor are in our personal capacity. Views expressed are personal and does not by any means express views or opinions from our respective employers. Further to it, I would just want to tell you that this particular session will take about 45 minutes, where we will be doing this engagement with Swati ji in couple of format, where we have some bit of presentation where she can guide us and make us understand the entire proposition a little better, deep dive to some of our experiences through Q&A and some bit of fire chat. We will open up, we will also learn in the mean through Sanyog ji, how can this entire platform help us in mentoring. We will try and connect Swati ji on her personal life, understand what are those chapters where we can learn from, where she would have taken a lot of learnings and she has reached to the pinnacle of her life when it comes to the career, analytics, and artificial intelligence for that matter, followed by vote of thanks. So we will conclude the session most likely by 12:30. Post that, the session will be available. Speaker is available for us to discuss in case anything which we have offline. And that's how the entire flow will be. Over to you, Swati ji.
Okay, so would we want to know, Swati, who our audience is today?
Yes.
And what is their background with analytics? That's what exactly that you're going to be talking about. So I'm sure Swati would love to get to know all of you. So what we're going to do is we are launching a poll. It's a short, it'll just take about 30 seconds for you to answer it. Please answer this poll. It helps Swati understand who is attending the session. Poll should have appeared. Can you see the poll, please? Are you able to see the poll? Yes. I don't see any.
It is visible.
Okay. Yeah. Now we can see the responses. Request everyone, please, to answer the poll. That'd be very helpful. Another 15 seconds. Request everyone to please answer. I think we've got everybody's answers. Okay, thank you so much for responding. We're going to end the poll now. And here are the results of the poll. Right? So, Swati, what we have today is majority of the people, almost 47%, are 0 to 7 years of work ex. And of course, a similar amount over 7 years, right? And in the field of analytics, we have 47% who say yes, they are in the field of analytics, and 53 say no. And of course, the most 41% are beginners. So I'm sure we're all going to benefit, whether it's an experienced practitioner, intermediate, or a beginner, or you have absolutely no clue what analytics is all about. Swati is going to take us through it step by step. So over to you, Swati. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Sushma ji. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today and talking to this group, and nice to see a very much divided audience. 50%, almost 50% say that they are not in the field, and 50% say they are in the field. What is still ambiguous is those who are in the field, are they in the career of analytics, or are they leveraging analytics for their career? So we will maybe, I think in the Q&A session, it will be deciphered through the kind of questions that come in. But for the interest of the overall audience, I have just put together a few slides to basically talk about the overall what, why, and how. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
It is visible. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, what, why, and how of analytics. Talking about the market sizing, talking about the skills that are required, and the overall roadmap, the kind of roles in analytics. And then I'll like to end with some mantras for a career in analytics and overall success in your career. So that is the way I will like to go about it. If there's anything, let's keep this conversational. So if there are any other aspects that you want me to touch on while I take the session, do ping in the chat or just call that out. Also, the first part of the session will be more about leveraging analytics in any career that you are. And in the second part of the session, even if you want to build a career in analytics, what all are basically the skills required, the rules that exist, and the do's and don'ts. So that's how I like to go about it. So beginning with the overall potential and market size. So if we talk about artificial intelligence analytics, and there are these words which are almost interchangeably used these days. And so many terms are there. It means AI, machine learning, deep learning, data analytics, data science. These are, I would, if very simply put, these are like progressive stage of complexity as you go along in the field of analyzing the data, and the tools and techniques and methodologies that you use as they become complex. So data analysis is like simplest form in which you can analyze the data, and then you explore the data further to even decipher what you don't know. That becomes data science. And then then there's a whole talk about AI, machine learning, deep learning. So this is how the artificial machines have the intelligence like we humans have, and that is the artificial intelligence part of it. And when machines self-learn, this is machine learning, and when they learn in a deep way like human brain, this is deep learning. So there are all of these facets, but overall the market of artificial intelligence encompasses all of this. So the potential, if we talk about the potential of artificial intelligence, like a lot of if I talk about the past few years, several reports have come in, and be it PwC, McKinsey, IBM, I think all have come with their estimates, and we can see globally it has a potential of $13 trillion to add to the global economy by around 2030. That's the estimate from McKinsey. If we talk about Indian economy itself, NASSCOM has come out with multiple reports, and they say that it will add $500 billion to India's economy by 2025. Now, this is what the potential of AI, what AI can do to the economy. Now, talking about the market size of this industry itself. So market size currently of the analytics industry in India stands at around $60 billion, and slated to grow to $200 billion by 2027. And now in terms of the size of demand, so there's already a dearth of around 500 data professionals in 500,000 data professionals in the country, data scientists. There's a lack of and open positions existing, which are to be filled. And globally, this number is estimated to be 11.5 million. And that is the kind of jobs that will be created by 2026. So overall, the potential is immense, be it in terms of the contribution that AI can do to the economy, or be in terms of the demand and the job market that it creates. Now coming to the what of analytics. So now I will very simply put across what is analytics, why it is done, how it is done, and then detail it out further with the skills and the job roles, the career mantras, etc. So talking about analytics, very simply put, it is the process of deriving insights from the data using various tools and techniques, and which help in making key business decisions. Now, from a data perspective, so data is collected through various source systems, be it CRM systems, ERP systems, the HR systems within the organization, any of the source systems, the data is created. Now you would have heard, because, and I'm using some of these terms because the 50% of people are mentioning that they are in field of analytics in some form. So when all this data is is generated, and it is created either in the form of data in central data warehouses, which can be in form of data lakes, data warehouses, wherein, so data lakes is where all the structured and unstructured data of an organization is collated at a place. Data warehouse mostly refers to the structured data. So basically this, so data gets collated in one place, then it is transformed in primarily the data marts are created for specific functions. Say it can be a finance data mart, a marketing data mart, a rewards or a loyalty data mart. Data marts for different kind of function, different functions that may require to do further analysis. So that is the data stage. Data collated from various source systems gathered at a central place. Then various data marts are created, which contain the consolidated data of that particular function, and then that can be used for downstream analysis. Now this data can be external, internal, structured or unstructured, and external data may, like it can be like, if I begin with the internal data first, so as I spoke, any of the data of the HR systems, or any data, the transaction data, say suppose it is a financial services company, so any data of any financial transaction, spend data, etc. So any of the data can be there. Then it can be structured. It can be like a transaction data is an example of structured data where you have the invoice date, amount, etc. And then it can be unstructured data like a survey data, if it is an open text or a text data, the comments data that we get on social media. All these are examples of unstructured data. Then data can be at an individual level, a business level, market data, competitor data. So these are different facets of the data that we ultimately analyze when we talk about analytics or machine learning. Now coming on to analysis, now there are the various tools that are available which process the data. Excel is one of the simplest tools, but very, very impactful tools. But then there are SQL, SAS, R, Python. So these are various, and then for the data visualization, there are various tools like Tableau, Power BI, which help visualize the data in a very effective fashion. So when we move on from the data stage to analysis stage, we use some of these tools for data processing and analysis. And then there are methodologies to actually analyze the data. And this can be descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive, prescriptive or cognitive analytics. So descriptive analytics mainly help answer the question, what? So what is the state of my business today? So analyzing, okay, these are the revenues, how have they moved from the past year, or the margins or the BOI, whatever. So that is just answering the question, what is the state today, analyzing the past, and coming to a conclusion there. Then there is like diagnostic analysis, which helps explore. So what are the hidden problems with the data? Predictive analytics, which answer the question, what will happen in future? So if we want to predict what will be my customer demand tomorrow, what will be the volume of customers that will come on my website tomorrow, or which will call to my call center, or which will come in my hospital. That is all examples of predictive analytics. Then there's prescriptive analytics. So prescriptive is which help you determine like what should be done. So what should be my optimal, say, ad break strategy? So if I have an advertisement, where should my ad break be placed? At what point in a in my program of 30 minutes, at what point should the ad break be placed? What should be the duration of the ad break? And what should be the frequency of the ad break within the program? Such answers are explained through prescriptive analytics. So, and it can be anything, means wherever we want, any recommendations we want, that what recommendations, whenever we see that, okay, you will you want, like you may want to view this program. So these are all examples of prescriptive analytics. And then there's cognitive analytics, and this is more to do with something like a human thinks and human behaves. Like, for example, understanding whatever is given in a text. So that is an example of, so NLP technologies, etc., are example of natural language processing. Understanding language generation are all examples of cognitive analysis. So this is the analysis part of data, and then it is action. So what happens once we analyze, and what is the purpose of all this analysis? The purpose is to basically impact any of the organizational functions from a customer, marketing, regulatory, risk, financial, or operational interventions perspective. So this is basically the whole of analytics. It covers the key things are data, tools, techniques, methodologies, goals that we are trying to fulfill. Now coming on to the next, here it is, I'm just extending from the last part, the actions. So basically why we do all of this, why are the customer, financial, or operational interventions needed? So the key areas are, key impact that analytics brings is decreased costs, enhanced revenues, improved processes, improved competitive positioning, enhanced human capabilities, reducing human time on any activity, and improved customer experience. So basically, like any other, means the organizational goals, I think, can be broadly put into the 4 categories of enhancing revenues, increasing efficiencies or decreasing costs, customer experience, employee experience. This is the overall goal of analytics as well. We see any problem, ultimately we are trying to do this. Now coming on to the how part of analytics. So in this, how does a typical analytics project start? So the first point is that we have to, first of all, there should be buy-in of the organization, the leadership, the stakeholders, that we really want to leverage the data to benefit our organization. So that has to be the mindset. Only when that mindset is there, does the analytics start in a real way. So as owners, maybe as founders of your organization, or as employees within your organization, I think that embedding of data culture is very, very essential. And once that is there, then and once one is bought in that we should explore the data to benefit us, then the first stage is that determining the use case where we want to see the power of data and the power of data analytics. And once that is done, it is understanding the key requirements, that what exactly has to be done in this use case, in this particular problem. What is the problem? What what we are trying to solve and all. So first of all, if you see the determining the use case, understanding the requirements, this is more a business characteristic. Now, here the data analysis does not start here. So ultimately, what I have seen in my experience across different clients and industries, that this is very important, that one is understanding the importance and the criticality of using data analytics for the benefit of the organization, and the business has an equal role to play. If it is just the analytics teams that are working on an analytics project, it might not lead to success eventually, because the business has to really understand where the analytics has to be embedded. So for folks who might not be technical, who might not be in the field of analytics and all, I want to bring to the table that analytics can be today leveraged by any and every function, any and every industry, any and every stakeholder in an organization. Probably you have the purview to like, you have that that ability to influence and start these use cases in the organization. And then coming on to the third part of it, once we understand the requirements, what has to be done, then it has to be data exploration. So all of that data, as I told, the initial part of it, that data has to be collected from various data sources and then explored. And for the particular function, those data marts have to be created, and then further data analysis needs to be done. So data exploration stage begins, and then there's a lot of time that goes in data cleaning and data preparation. In fact, it is said that 70% of a time in an analytical project goes in data cleaning and data preparation. So that is again very important, because as goes the common saying, garbage in, garbage out. If the data is not proper, then it will not yield the desired results, whatever sophisticated analytics techniques we may deploy. Then, and again, means there are proper like statistical techniques that are leveraged. Mean, median, mode of the data is seen to see that, okay, everything means the data is analyzed properly, then the outlier analysis is done, variance like VIF and various other analysis are done to see that we have data in proper place, and then data analysis techniques are deployed. Now, this is descriptive analysis, diagnostic, predictive that I talked about. So these are, so starting from the very basic analysis of mean, median, mode, average, we find out to basically applying the regression, logistic regression, or any of the more sophisticated techniques. Now there's a lot of random forest, XGBoost, so many techniques are coming up, GBMs, etc. So applying any of these, then NLP, neural networks, etc. So all of this is the part of analysis when we analyze the data to solve any particular business problem. Then once we have solved that problem, and say suppose the whole use case was to determine the target list for my customers, that which customers should I approach for my new product. Now, that was a use case that was determined. We understand what all we need to take in the data. We explored the data, cleaned the data, we applied predictive analytics techniques, and then means the overall we get a list of customers, and we finally deploy this in our production environment to get the list on an ongoing basis. So this is the overall cycle of analytics. Now, coming on to the basically the industry applications of analytics, and it is applied in every industry. 5 industries are listed here, and these are only illustrative examples. I cannot even, means we cannot even give the number to what number of use cases can be. It can be any use case. It is an open field. Any use case can be taken up. But industries, 5 are listed here. Besides this, legal, education, government, travel, transportation, utilities, any other industries also. We are talking here about the BFSI, retail, telecom, media, healthcare, and insurance industries. But then there can be any other industry, any other use. And but if I talk about any industry, so if you see this slide, And any, so I know that this question will come up, that how we use analytics across, like you may be in any industry, but I would say that in any industry you look at 3 areas of impact that analytics can bring. It can be either customer or marketing areas, broadly divided, means then it can be detailed out in any fashion. So if we see here BFSI, so we start with like customer or marketing. So customer prospecting. So like which customer should I target? So that's a customer area that we want to understand, or how aware are my customers. Or then media mix optimization. What should be my media media channels that I should adopt to advertise or to popularize the product? Then, so these are examples of customer or marketing analytics. Then we come to the other example is either of financial or risk analytics. So if we see in the first 2 industries here, if we see that it is either we are finding out, means the credit line assignment, that's a very typical example of a BFSI industry, that how do we assign the credit line? So we have to do the whole credit risk profiling of a customer to assign the credit line, that how much credit can be given to this customer. So that is again a lot of analytics go in there. Then spend leakage, that okay, if this is say a credit card company, so are people spending on my credit card? If they are not, if I means, can I find out that what proportion of my consumers' money is going not on my card but on other card? Can I get this on my card? So those are all examples of the financial or risk analytics. And then there's operational analytics. So fraud. So if the transactions are happening, can I predict that these are fraudulent transactions? Or can I do an analytics of my who's getting the more loyalty points, and can I devise my loyalty or rewards strategies accordingly? So these are some examples of, as I illustrated, the BFSI example, but again in customer, marketing, risk, financial, or operational domain. And similarly, we can see examples in all the other industries. And these include like examples on demand forecasting, homepage personalization, customer journey. When you go onto a website, analytics is going on. So if you have registered on a website, sometimes you might find your bank homepage and all are customized. So that is the homepage personalization that has been done depending on what might be of interest to you. You get offers that you have 50 rupees off on if you buy from, say, Amazon Pay and all of that. So all of these are customized offers that are given to you depending on your previous history. Then anomaly detection. Any issue happens. So sometimes, so for one of our clients, it was seen that from a particular mode of payment, nobody was buying, and it was realized that that mode of payment was not being used, and they had only given these couple of mode of payments, but it was not being used because there were some issues in using that mode of payment. So that was all found out when this analysis was done, that how much transactions are happening through that mode of payment. So I would say that any and everything that we do today, and maybe when we talk, we will discuss more, that the regular day-to-day use of our Uber, Swiggy, Amazon are all leveraged by the power of analytics, and it is the power of analytics that actually benefits us to make our life simpler, to ensure that we are able to take a ride as soon as we want or get the delivery as soon as we want. Then coming on to telecom, media, again, these are, and all of these analytics, while are listed in these particular industries, they happen in each of the industry. So if there's a customer lifetime value, the whole lifetime of the customer is assessed depending on how much purchases he will make and what will be the profit that we will make out of the customers, and what is the kind of discounts that we'll have to give to the customers. Accounting for all of these factors, customer lifetime value is calculated. And this is I've given in telecom media industry, but it is applicable across industry, and similarly cross-selling of products or upselling of products. Then sentiment analysis, any of the social media texts and social media comments can be analyzed. So that's another analytical use case, very prevalent in the media industry. Then coming on to healthcare, there are different kinds of analytics, both from a healthcare insurance company perspective or a healthcare provider perspective, which is the hospital's perspective. So from hospital's perspective, it can be predicting hospital admissions, readmissions, or understanding the patient engagement, or understanding the patient use of health monitoring systems, etc. Or from an insurance company, it can be claim analytics or the frauds or the overpayments that have been done in the insurance by the insurance company to the customers. Then coming on to insurance, again, it is in underwriting analysis and the overall performance of the insurance agents, etc. So these are different examples in the insurance industry, and overall in all of the industries which are interlinked and can be adopted in any industry. The process, the techniques remain the same. What becomes most important is the domain knowledge for the particular industry. Then coming on to the skills that are required, the most important is the analytical thinking, the logical thinking, problem solving, decision making. So basically means the whole analytics is about problem solving. So it's a use case that ultimately you are solving, and the most efficient way that you can solve. So I'll tell, means I've been part of many of these industry contests on analytics, and some of the top final teams that we have judged. So say suppose 10 teams finally come on an analytics project, and the approach, the methodology, the tools, the techniques that they use are entirely different. Because everybody is using it according to their way. Ultimately, coming to the same conclusion means there are different ways, but the objective is the same, to solve that particular problem. So people approach. So there's no right or wrong answer to analytics. But yes, eventually the whole thing is that your error rate should be minimum. So what you are predicting should be as near to real as possible. So that is there, and you can adopt any number of different ways to do that. And then, as I highlighted in the previous slide, for deep domain knowledge is most important. So domain knowledge is the most important. In fact, I sometimes place high, and sometimes not always I place domain knowledge to be higher. For a success of an analytics project, it is very important that people understand the business and what they are trying to do, because then there can be different tools, different techniques that can be adopted, and means people can, if it is just about applying the analytics tools and techniques, then anybody can apply that, but somebody has to be understanding of the business, that what basically the business wants and what has to be achieved here. Then not only the understanding of the business industry, so one is in banking, one has to understand banking, but one has to understand the different functions. So be it like if we are doing analytics in the finance space or the marketing space, HR space, legal space, the supply chain space, so all of that has to be understood. So there has to be functional expertise also. And so these are some of the areas. Of course, if we take about an analytics professional, he cannot be expert in every field, but I highly recommend that if analytics professionals, there are two paths, either you can be a generalist or a specialist. But if you have, and if you're trying to take the specialist path, be clear of the area that you want. So if you want to go in banking, then is it the risk analytics that you want to focus on, or if it is the marketing analytics that you want to focus on, you should be very clear. Then it comes to the technology part of it, and there the key skills are programming skills, the mathematics and statistical knowledge, and knowledge of tools and techniques. And these tools and techniques are ever evolving. So my recommendation is people should be aware about what's going on, what are the new things coming, why one is better than the other, and all of those considerations should be there. So this is, and then soft skills again, in the field of analytics, one of the most important soft skill is the proactive approach, because if you are not proactive enough at the very beginning, if you don't choose the right data or do the stuff with the data that is required, then it will not yield the right results. So you have to really understand which data has to be used, which data has not to be used. So all of these are some of the key skills that are required. And then communication and storytelling again becomes very important. Means you can specialize in one of these. So I think analytical skills are a must to have. Then business skills, you can decide which areas you want to do, and similarly technology skills and soft skills are always good and great to have, and it makes you more successful professional. Now moving on, what are the roles? The roles in AI, broadly we can divide into 3 areas, and the roles can be divided into multiple areas, but I would primarily put it into the data engineering, business analyst, or the data scientist. So data engineer is the one who does the whole life cycle of the data, which I explained in the very beginning, that data is coming from various source systems. So who creates the whole data architecture, that what will be the flow of data, assessing the data, then master data, creation of the master data, then data quality, data governance. All the aspects of data are done by the data engineer. And then there are data engineer also, there are so many specialization. So any requirement of data engineer will have the special skills required, but broadly the data engineer is to do with the data architecture, assessment, master data management, data quality, governance. All of these come in the purview of data engineer. And then there is a specialized role, data stewards, and all of that. So they are there, but mostly these are people who deal with the data. Then there's business analyst role, which is more that who is an intermediary between the data scientists and the business, basically the people who analyze the data and the business. So this is the person who understands the business requirements and communicates and liaises between the data scientists and data analysts. Most of the time, the business analysts, data scientists all work together as a part of the data analytics team, and data engineer, all of them work together and the roles are intermixed. Mostly the business analyst, data scientist, data analyst, all roles are basically complementary roles, and it can be held by one person also. And then data scientist is the person who basically does the whole analysis from the data and applies all those tools and techniques that we talked about earlier. So these are the basic roles. Then some of the top trends in AI, and I'll maybe Rahul, I'll take 5 minutes more.
Oh, please, ma'am, more, very much.
Okay, sure. So in trends in AI, so there's one, responsible AI will gain significance. I put it on the top here because of the forum that we are in, JITO. We are means it's like this is all about responsible citizenship, and responsible AI is also being talked about, and it's a topic very close to my heart. It is all about implementing AI with responsibility. So there are various facets to this responsible AI, and maybe during the conversation I'll elaborate more, but this talks about data transparency, data accountability, who takes the accountability of the data. So there has to be responsibility around each part of the data, data explainability, data security, data privacy, all of these aspects are there. Then rise of citizen data scientists, that now while the data scientists are, people think that data scientist is a very, very complex role, and people means it ought to have only specialists and all, but now it is also that because the low code, no code approaches are gaining significance, and there's a lot of automation, and also basically even people who are not that technical are also getting tools to implement the codes and all, and to see the results of the data analysis. So this is the there's a trend towards rise of citizen data scientists who can basically use the data analysis for their advantage with minimal technical interventions. Then MLOps is gaining prominence. So this is again the whole automation that is happening in machine learning. So basically by a click of a button, you may implement the entire machine learning model. So a lot of automation is happening even in that area. Then new age algorithms see higher utilization in industry. So more and more industries are adopting analytics in general. And real-time data analytics will gain prevalence. So now there's more and more real-time analytics. So real-time we are seeing in our daily lives, in Uber, Swiggy and all, we see the real-time. Google Maps is an excellent example there, where we see real-time that how much time it will take to reach a particular place. Then increased focus on explainable AI. And so explainable. So there has to be transparency around what's going on behind my model. Most of the time, the neural networks, etc., means these are black boxes. So we don't know exactly what happens behind the model. So there's more and more focus coming up that there should be adequate transparency, and we should know what is going behind the models. And adoption of cloud is increasing across companies. Cloud is basically servers on the internet. So then software and data processing tools and systems on the internet. So the adoption of cloud is also gaining a lot of prevalence, because then companies don't need to have their on-premise servers and can buy space in a flexible, easy, agile way on the cloud and do their analysis. So these are some of the trends that are there in analytics and AI. Now, talking about some of the mantras for an analytics professionals. So I have just listed out some things, like it is multidisciplinary. So today it is not just about that you are in a banking industry, you should just know about what's banking. So many a times even people are hired from other industry for a top position in the organization, so that they can bring the knowledge that exists in other industry to that industry to augment. So yeah, and analytics is a lot like that, because what has been the good things done in other industries can be implemented in that industry. So for example, retail analytics, there's a lot of new things happening in retail, and banking industry keeps on taking some of those pointers to evolve more analytical use cases for them. Then coming on to bigger data does not always lead to bigger insights. So it's not that you have more data, so more insights. You have to be very thoughtful of what data you are using for your particular analysis. Thirdly, analytics is just a means to achieve an end and not an end in itself. And therefore, the focus of the entire process when you do an analytics project should be on business outcomes. That what outcome you are trying to derive, that should be the key thing in an analytical project. And then all the techniques and the tools will evolve around that. Then simplicity is valuable. Don't run towards complex models only. So this is something I do believe. So I was in a panel and it was talked that, and this was a person from IBM, he said that we used to solve one of the problems, we used more sophisticated techniques, and after that it was realized that the best impact could be yielded by a simple descriptive analysis, which shows that, okay, the descriptive analysis just shows that if we change this parameter, then we'll get the maximum value. And a whole lot of complex analytical models could not solve what a simple report could show them. So therefore, it is very important that simplicity is valuable. Just see what you can do simply, and then it gradually evolve towards complexity. An ability to articulate importance and impact of analytics is of using analytics is critical. So this is also very important, that because analytics is still in the nascent stages in almost all organizations. If I put it that most of the organizations in India, especially the small startups or medium enterprises, are still figuring out and wanting to use and leverage the power of analytics. So it is very important that we are able to articulate everything, that what is happening, and otherwise the faith and trust will not be there, and people will just struggle with what is the impact I'm getting. I'm just investing my money. And then finally, data ethics and privacy is of paramount importance. So like ethical behavior in any walk of life is important. Similarly, in the field of data analytics, and ethics and privacy is a non-negotiable. So these are some of the mantras. As you pick up on the field of analytics or do an analytical project, all these should be kept into consideration. Then overall, these are some overall success mantras for the career. And this is my last slide. So it just talks about that if to succeed in a career, and that can be an analytics career as well, clarity of vision is required, that what do you exactly want to achieve and what do you exactly want to do. If you really want to be in this field, and if you enjoy playing with data and numbers, you have that research and analysis mindset, then it is good to be in this field. Otherwise, I think all fields are equally good, are good by themselves. And then continuous learning, bias towards action. So continuous learning is a rather key takeaway that I will say, that in terms of success mantra, that should be there, that you should have a mindset to learn. And I think if one can be disciplined for 30 minutes on an everyday basis, that I will learn something and then learn something in a particular direction, that is very valuable. So if, say, suppose today you want, like for 1 month, I'll understand about analytics, then for 30 minutes here, analytics videos on YouTube or do whatever, but you have to have continuous learning mindset. And if it is more structured learning, that's also fine. Then effective communication is very, very important for success, for career success. And therefore, I would say that people should continuously invest in ensuring their communication gets better and better, and developing a network. The right network is also very important, because if you walk and talk in the circles in the network, it is aimed to your vision, then definitely the movement towards your ultimate goal is much faster. I think in my personal life, being in the right network has benefited me the most. Along, I think if I were to put my things from here, it is continuous learning and developing the right network. Then initiative and energy, push your boundaries, means every time just keep pushing yourself, and means it takes courage to push your boundaries actually. So if you're doing something and you want to do something, and any of the internal forces are inhibiting you, just have the courage to just take that leap of faith and move, and or at least start working on that direction. And then time management is very important overall, because if you can like if something has to be done with speed and agility, do it that way. If time has to be time management, if it is proper, then there's often the success comes easily. And also have a balance in your life, give time to different aspects of your life. So with that, I will over my session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Swati ji. I think it is one of the capsule which has been very, very intensive, and every word which you have used is equivalent to a book, I must say. And that goes to say, as you were saying, like, you have to have continuous learning as a culture in you. That will only make this entire journey come forward for all of our participants as a mentor and mentees, as well the audience which is available in this group. So, ma'am, I just wanted to understand one simple thing. You have tickled minds of us and a lot of our listeners about responsible AI and ethics. How do we see it? I mean, what can you elaborate more on that side?
Absolutely. So see, for responsible AI, now there are various things. Number one, when we talk about responsible AI, so I think NASSCOM has come out recently. This week itself, NASSCOM launched its responsible AI toolkit in Delhi itself. I was also part of that conference. And there are 8 principles in responsible AI. So it is all about that whatever artificial intelligence analysis is done, it has to be backed by responsibility. And one of the most important factors is indiscrimination. So it should not be. So what artificial intelligence is? It is ultimately machines are doing what humans should do. So if humans should tell that which people we should target or which movies should a person see because of his past history, it is machines that are showing. Or which candidates should be selected in an organization, right? Humans are, based on the resume, humans used to screen. Now, if say, suppose machines are screening. Now, if we take this example only what I've given, which candidate should be selected? If previously, so how will the AI work here? How will the machine learning model work here? It will take data for previous 10 years, okay, which candidates have been selected. What has been the profile of the candidates that have been selected, the education background of the candidate, the years of experience of the candidate, the companies of the candidates and all. And basis that, okay, these people have been selected. So how a model works? So there is a target variable, which is, and there are independent variables and there is a dependent variables. So the target variable, which is the whether the person has been selected or not, is based on all the independent variable of education, the experience, the skills, and all of that. So if, say, suppose in the machine, and we make the model learn this, that okay, these are the characteristics for somebody to be selected, and that is the model equation that we formed. Now what happens is, machine just learns it. If it is a human today, instead of a male candidate, if a female candidate comes with all these characteristics, as a human, we will not discriminate, because we understand that all the characteristics remain similar, whether it's a male or a female. But in the model, a male has been given higher weightage, because all of that data was of a male earlier. So the weightage goes to male, and therefore there is discrimination, that only the males coming from, say, an IIT institute and with this much experience will be selected for the job. Why can't female be? So this is an example of discrimination, and therefore we say that it has to be indiscriminate. So responsible AI first principle is it has to be indiscriminate. There should be no discrimination or a bias in the model. So, and similar, it's about we and means you might have heard several cases about blacks and whites, similar in the US, where they were not selected and there was discrimination there. So that is the first aspect of responsible AI, that there should not be any discrimination. Then there's the second most, then there's reliability, safety. People should be safe, and any of the data should not be used for companies' advantage, which exposes them. So say, suppose there's a medical disorder with a person, it should not be brought out in public, right? So those are some of the privacy considerations for responsible AI. Then there is security considerations of responsible AI, that data, whatever data is given, is secure. So one is privacy, that my personal data should not be revealed or should not be used without my knowledge. So I have to give a consent for it, only then it can be used. And there are various regulations in various parts of the world, and Indian regulation is still firming up. But in terms of like GDPR and all that you might have heard, which is about global data, like data prevention. Then, so there's a data privacy aspect, there's a lack of bias aspect, then there's a data security aspect, that data has to be secure. So there has to be multi-factor authentication, or the accesses to the individuals should be given rightfully in the right fashion. So that is the third aspect of it. And then there are accountability, that there are basically responsible AI committees in the organizations being formed, that who will take responsibility and accountability for the AI model that has been created. So there are AI councils and committees being formed. And so there are 8 principles, but the 5th and the last important principle, which is very close to my heart, is protection and reinforcement of human values. So basically, Niti Aayog had initially come up with that question, and with that particular aspects, that there has to be protection. Whenever an AI is implemented, this thing has to be kept into consideration, that there's protection and reinforcement of human values. So that is, these are some of the aspects of responsible AI that we should do.
And so, I mean, taking it forward from here, I mean, somebody has to upgrade himself into this particular career line. I mean, what are those next steps which they should take? You have covered a bit, but then I would just want you to elaborate more, because we have good about 40% of the population in that band where they would want to start from scratch, and where do they should draw energy and inspiration. So please, over to.
So there I would say, see, there are two kinds of people, and I don't know if we should ask people to raise their hands or see. One is, do you want to start a career in analytics? That means you want to become a analytics professional, or you want to start analytics in your organization, in
Your
the sense you
organization.
want to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
an analytics project in your organization. So there are two ways, right? If we talk about starting, so if somebody has to say, suppose, because I think there's a mixed lot and people are of middle stage in their career, so many might want to leverage. So my recommendation will be that, means if you have to start an analytical project in your organization, means one is start seeing the particular use case. So in whatever area you are in, so if you are, say, in the area of procurement within your organization, or if you are in finance area in your organization, if you are in, say, so any area in your organization, or any industry is even global. So I'm not even taking, so in any industry, if you are in, say, finance, marketing, or means what is the data, what can you do out of the data? So if you have data, means, and data is being collected everywhere today, be it like if it is a card, then it is card transaction. If it is HR, then HR systems have all the data. If it is website, then all the data is collected there. So data is everywhere. So just see that with that data, where you can, mean, I am a firm believer of the fact that if you can pinpoint on that one use case, see, it is no point going into, means there's a flood of data. Pinpoint one use case and show the impact. I'll give an example. Means one of our clients implemented analytics for their card spend, that how means there's a leakage on the card spend, and how they should ensure that that leakage is minimized, and all. And they could get millions of dollars of savings out of that, right? So that is, and then there's a simple use case like we have in, say, for one of the logistics companies that I'm doing, there are, as a part of the contract, there are certain charges that need to be levied on the customers, besides if there are extra services taken. So say, suppose the extra services, there's a delivery at a very remote location, so it is considered as an extra service, which has to have payment over and above the stipulated normal amount. Now, the company was losing all of this, because who keeps a track of where the customer has gone and where there have been additional efforts involved? Means these additional efforts can be even on delivery, on holidays, if that courier person is held on for a longer period of time, and all of that. But then just that analysis was done using various tools and techniques to ascertain where the extra efforts were there. And again, it led to millions of dollars of additional revenues for the organization. So I would say here that just take on specific use cases and start implementing it. And of course, you have to have the stakeholders aligned, because sometimes you may have to invest in the tools, technologies, or even in the people who are knowledgeable in the field. Now, people who have to begin in their careers. So talking about that aspect, so people who have to begin in their careers, if they say, suppose you are already, either you are already or you are in initial stages, I would just say that, see, and this I'm telling you by experience, that take one field of analytics. Say suppose you take visualization as your area, and learn the tools, say learn Tableau or learn Power BI. These are visualization packages which show help you report the data and visualize the data in. So learn those packages, and then, means if you have to apply in a job, then if you are really knowledgeable, if today I am looking for professionals who are good in data visualization, and if you can crack that interview, today there's so much of demand that you will be taken in. See, ultimately, to build an analytics career, you need two things. Either you are in your own organization and you can move in the analytics function of your own organization. So again, that tactic will apply here, that you find out that what they need. Do they need Python skills? And I just focus on that, or do they? So take one area. So you can do courses from, there are like 1 year course, 6 months course, 2 years course, almost now so many universities, India and internationally, are providing. You can do that, those courses, but then pick up an area and try to crack in either the internal interview of your organization or external, because only when you do analytics will you learn it. So that is the best way of getting into this field. Yeah.
So I think as you say, there are enough opportunities for all of us. As long as we decide where we want to go and how we want to proceed, there are plenty of opportunity available. That's quite insightful. So, I mean, there are a lot of people who are asking in small ways of understanding in different industries, maybe how CA, how social organization, how automobiles, how manufacturing can start some bit of their AI, analytics and AI in their life. If you can just throw some light on it for a minute.
Sure, sure. So see, again, I think I'll be glad to even talk to people individually if required, means people can discuss, because see, if I talk about, say, CAs itself, now CAs also is in CA, there are like audit professionals and then tax professionals, and they are in the finance functions of organization, they are in wealth management team. So again, means there is a whole spectrum
of people, correct?
Yeah, right. So I would say, see, ultimately it is about leveraging the data that is there. One of the simple things that companies start either is means either they find out the anomalies in the data that exist. So either anomalies, or they do means it all depends on which particular area. But now, why a CA wants to use it for finding out which customers that he should be focusing on, or what is the like from a finance perspective, means if they are auditing any financials, what are the issues out there? Or we did a project for like TNE, the whole expense management and spend analytics, or for procurement, in the procurement function, means laying out all the vendors of an organization. And so means there are several use cases. I think we'll have to go in detail of the specific use case that person can, but the overall mantra is the same, that which area you want to focus on. You want to target the finance function, then there's a whole. So either, means I would just say that anybody who's asking here, be it the social organization or the CAs, or any other areas that you mentioned right now, legal or whatever, be it like you want to look into the finance function or the marketing function or the operations. So look at these three areas, and then look at the chain, that you want to create a simple report of your previous data and your existing data and how it has moved. You want to understand every variable and every importance. So either that is there, or you want to do something to predict what will happen in future. You want to forecast the demand that might come from your customers or for your customers. So all of this, the existing, you want to see, you want to diagnose what exists in the data you don't know, or you want to predict for the future. So these are some of the things that you can do it. Now it is different functions, and we'll have to go in the specific use cases or specific areas to be more meaningful.
So as you said that we have to get into some specific use cases, specific areas, need to connect one-to-one to understand more better. I think that brings to a next point where we should understand what is more mentoring, what is that this platform can help us to do more and add more in our lives. I would invite Sanyogji to throw some light on it before we take it forward, ma'am. Over to you, Sanyogji.
Thank you, Ramji. Now, I want to spend a few minutes on the JITO Mentorship Program. The JITO Mentorship Program is a flagship program of JPF. And under this program, any Jain community member living anywhere in the world can seek virtual mentorship from one of our mentors. And as Sushma-ji wrote on the chat box, we have 50 plus mentors representing many different walks of life. The program has been very well received. The program was recognized at the JITO convention in Goa this year. Now, what really is mentorship? Mentoring is a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push in the right direction. But when you get mentoring from somebody who is a community leader, who has the experience, real knowledge by an industry leader, that is what you get mentorship as part of the JPF mentorship program. To give you some idea, about the overall mentorship program, we have 52 mentors on board. Our goal is to increase this panel to about 100. Each one of them has done some cutting edge work, and you're seeing the examples of that from our speaker, Dr. Swati Jain. They have experience and background in 24 plus industries. There are 15 plus areas of mentorship where they can help and support you, starting from operations, supply chain management, human resources, entrepreneurship, career progression, strategy, and marketing. And to date, we have more than 300 participants in the program. We have a mentee group, which has got nearly 500 members. More than 300 people have actually taken advantage either on the one-on-one mentoring or of the group mentoring session. And not the best thing, I don't think this really is important, but also it is important for no cost. I really don't think that there is a program like that if you are if you are a member of the Jain community, you can get support on all these things virtually from where you are. Now, so, mentorship can be for a variety of different issues. But if you want to get better at anything right now, and here are just some examples, better at your current job, or you're looking for career guidance, or leadership skills, or network opportunities or life career advice, or how do you professionalize your business, or any situational advice, or maybe even anything else, because our mentors, they have got experience in so many areas, and they've got real world knowledge. You can approach, or you can apply for the mentorship. Having said that, how is the program really executed? If you have, a one-off situation where you have a simple question, you can actually take part in the flash mentoring. It's a single session with one of our mentors. By the way, you can also have actually mentoring session with different people. Sometimes if your problem is more complex, you could speak to 2 or 3 different mentors, and we can facilitate those meetings. We have also organized group mentoring sessions. In the last year, we have done over 21 group mentoring sessions. And these are small group sessions, about anywhere between 10 to 20 people with a mentor talking more specifics, and you can answer questions which you may not get an opportunity in a large forum like that. And then we have development mentoring. That is another format. If you and the mentor agree that you want to speak regularly, then you could have a development mentoring. And we will be, in times to come, also introduce the coaching and startup mentorings. To register for the program, and some of these links have been put on in your in the chat box also. To register for the mentoring program, you can just type on the first URL address. To view our mentors profile, there is another address on which you can see our mentors profile. The videos of the previous 12 Level Up series, they are housed on YouTube. You can look at those, and even this particular program, it is eventually going to go on the YouTube. You can write to us on the address which is there. And if you want to receive information on the upcoming programs, you can join our WhatsApp group by writing to us. Each month we have Level Up series, we have group mentoring sessions, and other programs. What you have on the screen is the people who really make this program happen. We are all volunteers. We have Mr. Vishal Jain, he's the convener of the program. We have Sushma Bantia. We have Mr. Nipun Jain. We have Mr. Amol Jain. We have Mr. Rahul Jain. He is the MC of the program today. And of course, the program manager, Mansi Bagela. She is part of the JITO Secretariat. So here, this is all about the JITO mentorship program. And I would like to actually pass on the session back to Rahulji to continue the conversation with Dr. Swati.
Thank you, Sanyogji. So taking it forward, Swati ji, I just wanted to understand, as Sanyogji was talking about mentorship program, I'm sure life is long and then journey is tough. Can you pull up some of those mentoring moments in your life which has made you reach here, those key inflection points which has helped you come up to the curve and challenges and bottlenecks in life?
Yeah, absolutely, Rahul. Thanks. Like as I reflect upon, I think mentoring is very, very important. वो कहते हैं ना कि guru is the person who helps you get up with the best out of yourself. And that is what I think mentoring in my life also has been so far. And I'm continuously also means seeking the right mentors wherever I get. And I think, see, mentoring one is forums like this. I think I will say both in terms of the mentoring pointers from forums like this that I've got, which have immensely benefited me and even otherwise. So I'll start simply where I go back the memory lane. I will start from those pointers which helped me and which were like my mentoring mantras that I got. These can be from people whom you know, whom you just see on the stage. They can tell one statement and that can be your mentoring mantra that you carry to your life. These can be people with whom you work day to day in life. These can be forums like this. I think all of these have benefited me. And for my examples, I will say that first thing I remember in life is there was this IIT convocation ceremony. And there the chief guest said a statement which I had the mantra for my career. He said that the person who really succeeds in life is not the one who looks at success at every step, but who goes on and on and on. And then means he is not bothered about small success and failures that come on the way, but he's basically chasing that bigger vision. And that statement has always been with me, and now it has been, I think, 20-30 years over that. Anytime means one is the clarity of vision, which I put at the top, and with this his statement that we have to pursue that. So that was my mentoring mantra, the first mentoring mantra which I carry till date. Then I would say that I had mentors. Personally, I was lucky to have a mentor in form of my husband at home. So he actually he is a professional himself, really mentored me through, as means I could directly, indirectly, you learn from people. You can have a brother at home who is again in the corporate world and you can learn there. So mentors. Then in your own organization, I would say that you should have somebody to mentor you, because a lot of progress in the career is about navigating your organization to reach higher within your organization. And then even if you have to move out, then the person in your organization can guide the best, means if you can talk to that length about that. So that's and then there's industry mentor, and where the importance of industry mentor comes in is forum like this. And here I would say that I have joined like JITO has immensely benefited me, because one particular reason why a forum like this is important. So I am very closely associated with two forums. One is a forum on analytics and AI that I am very much, that gives me subject matter knowledge. But now the stage of the career I am in, after a few years of experience, we start evolving as leaders. And therefore, it's a broader experience that matters. And that's where JITO has really helped me. With the kind of mentors that JITO has in its platform, I have really learned from the conversations that have happened in the past, and such successful people come and share their mantras, and very authentically, And that has really helped me, because many a time, and in fact, I will go to the extent that many apprehensions that I carried are also erased. Like we are always self-doubting that we don't know this, that, because we are in our own world and we see the world with that kind of vision only. But when we go in forums like this, we see that means people are at different stage of their learning, their evolution and thought process. And then we realize that it is a holistic thing that matters. So that way is also the mentoring forums help. And so mean my own thing to the group will be just that you should associate yourself with one or two mentoring forums on a regular basis. It should not be like once in a while you come, on a regular basis, to reap the best of the returns. And frankly speaking, where I am today, and JITO platform has also benefited me a lot in the last couple of years to reach where I am.
So as you said, knowledge is one piece, internal mentoring is another piece, external mentoring is another piece, professional mentoring is another piece. Would you also want to cover something on the emotional aspects of our life? Because I think more than logic in our life, when we value emotions, though we don't much, but then when we really look at the power of emotions is very much. So how do we navigate through that part of our life in emotions part? Because those are the ones which makes your purpose defined, those are the ones which makes your goals defined, that's the energy quotient of it. So I mean, if you were to throw some light on that.
What can be a better forum than JITO to answer this question? Because I think we Jains are anyways, means the base of spirituality and the spiritual quotient is quite high. So your emotional part I will mix with the spiritual quotient, because if you the whole ethical quotient, all of this. So if the more you are grounded in with basic values, the more clear you are on different aspects of your life. So I would say that means that is very, very important, because if our our values, our emotions, what we are doing, why we are doing, how we are doing are all not aligned, then career progress will not be that smooth, right? So I think all of this is very, very important. And for that kind of mentoring, I think I would recommend a forum like means JITO again, means there's conversations of ethics and all, but I think Genin is another platform that I personally run, and any of the people here right now are welcome to join that. It talks more about the spiritual aspects and spiritual intelligence for professional success. So we can, and that also brings the emotional elements also through. But I think emotional mentoring is very important. So I would even put it to the extent that if there's an emotional mentoring needed, get it sorted first before you go to professional mentoring.
Very much agree. Very much agree to you. I think that brings to the last part of our session. I would want all the participants to refer the chat box. We will be keeping this session open post 12:30 for discussion, any which is offline with Swati ji. And I would invite Sanyog ji for a vote of thanks at this junction. Sanyog ji, over to you.
Thank you, Rahul ji. First and foremost, I want to thank the participants for joining us. You know, it is Sunday, and Sunday is the family day, but our participants made the family day as also a learning opportunity. So a big thank you to all our participants for joining us. And I would also like to thank Dr. Swati Jain for giving us such an enriching background about what AI is. I'm a non-technical person, and I can tell you personally, I got so much out of your presentation. I made a lot of notes. It was very enriching for me personally. I want to thank JPF for making these programs possible. Without the support of the organization JITO and JPF, these things would have not happened. And last but not the least, all the volunteers. There's a lot of preparation which goes behind to conduct, programs such as this. Now, as a personal rule, I never try and summarize what the speaker has said. And for two reasons. One, I can never do that much of a great job at it. That is one. And I think it is already the speaker, so it was so lucid and it was so clear that people like me who are completely non-tech, even we understood what AI is and how you can really leverage it while you're in all aspects of your life. So with that, thanks everyone once again. And we will officially end the program at 12:30. Dr. Swati Jain has been very kind enough to stay back for another 10-15 minutes to answer any questions. So over to you, Rahulji, and then you can just instruct the participants on how you will be conducting the program from now until the time we fully end the program.
So all my participants, we have a YouTube link. I would request all of you to please follow that up.